Guess what, boys? Papa Price is back and Ghost Daddy has arrived. And this time the plot's even wilder and less sensical than the last. Oh, plus there's a secret, not so secret love connection between Ghost and Soap.
I like it.
Guarantee you they won't.
We start off as Ghost, Simon Riley in the desert doing some light rock climbing when we happen upon a large Russian gathering in the middle of the desert. We think this is probably not so good, so we blow them up with a remote-controlled ballistic missile. Sorry, General Jabroni, but if you think we good guys are just going to sit around and wait for you to act up, well then you'd be sorely mistaken. Several months later, turns out the baddies aren't too happy about us blowing up their little get-together and have hailed a new commander, General Hassan, which for being one of the main bad guys in the game, he hardly shows up. Also, Laszlo is back. She's got short hair now and is a total simp for this General Shepard guy. Oh, General Shepard. Why does that name sound familiar? Oh well, I'm sure he's totally chill. Anyways, Ghost and Soap lead a special operations team to try and capture this new bad guy, Hassan. Also, it turns out Soap is Scottish. Was he always Scottish? I don't know. Kinda sexy though. It's nighttime and we use our night vision goggles to do some sneaky, slippery stuff in the dark. The bad boys end up shooting our bros Chopper down. We can't seem to find Hassan anyway, so we go over to help. But it doesn't really matter though, because they're all dead. Ooh. We scoot on over to another building and discover that these baddies have their own ballistic missiles. And on top of that, they're American missiles. Whoa, wait a minute. That's Ghost? That's not his mask. That's a goddamn Halloween costume, and I'm frightened. And Shepard's pissed. He wants the missiles destroyed. Camp Laszlo feels responsible for these missiles being out in the wild for some reason and decides it's time to put herself back in the field. She makes a call to Big Daddy Price and Smooth Jazz Gaz to send them over to Amsterdam to figure out if there's any more of these explodey boys. Turns out the crew is already on it, just chilling in the harbor. I stealthily kill everyone while Price lounges away doing God knows what. We get onto this kind of sick barge thing and find it teaming with Los Alamos Mexican cartel members. From one of the recently deceased members' phones, we discover that a drop of some kind is about to go down. We head into town, find the guy, and inject him with something. This time, drugs are going to save lives. From this duty, we learn that Hassan is trying to sneak into the US from Mexico. That sly dog. Next, we switch perspectives to some operatives working for the Mexican government at the US-Mexico border. And these homies are badass. I mean, look at those ballistic shades. We spy the terrorists crossing over the big fence and crawl up after them. We creep through some Texas neighborhoods searching for our beloved Hassan. Finally, we locate the little hellion holed up in a suburban home. For plot reasons, our boy Alejandro sends us in all alone to capture the highly violent, extremely dangerous terrorist. Whatever, I don't care. I shoot these guys making biscuits and this dude in the tub. Then I bust in on the big bad too. They knock my gun out of my hands and pound me out something fierce. Then Hassan's like, no, don't kill him. I'll just light this house on fire with him still inside. Because that would be extra villainy. They skirt on out and leave me to be engulfed by the flames. Alejandro busts in and is like, bro, you totally had that, and plucks us from certain death. Now we get to see more of Shadow Company and their leader, Philip Graves, who reminds me of the high school coach from every movie. Just put him in a tracksuit, trust me. We take control of the flying death machine and casually lay waste to this humble Mexican town. We capture Hassan and escort him to the middle of the desert. You would think, oh yeah, they're gonna get him now. Homeboy thinks he can do terrorist stuff and not have consequences. Hassan throws some legal jargon around and the whole squad gets cold feet. Tisk tisk. My man's Captain Price threw a dude off a balcony and he exploded. Dude, Shadow Company sucks. They're forced to turn the dirty bird loose, but it's fine because we hack his phone and get some intel on where the remaining missiles might be. Welcome to All Gillied Up Part 2, babies. Price and Gaz super stealthily crawl past some idiots in the grass and then shoot everyone from like a mile away. My little Call of Duty heart could not be any happier. Eventually, our little sniping escapade leads us to this spooky lighthouse, where we also kill everyone because, well, they're bad. The game told me so. Everyone chill out. There's no time for conscience when there's weapons of mass destruction on the loose. In the lighthouse, we find a secret hiding tunnel that leads us to this underground lair, which houses a ghetto-looking submarine. Our Sherlock Holmes moment is abruptly ended by Mama Laszlo being overtaken by terrorist sea pirates. The baddies haul her back to our old stomping grounds, Urzikstan. Yeah. That Urzikstan with the lady and the idiot brother with the gas. We enlist the help of the Supreme Commander Farah herself. Turns out Farah's being transported for questioning and now is our time to strike. Farah and her gang use dirt bikes to, well, I don't know what. Seems like I'm the one doing all the legwork here. Literally, I'm jumping from truck to truck like it's a Fast Fast and Furious movie. Eventually, I catch the kidnappers and release the wild child from her cage. Then Farrah's like, peace out, that's all for my cameo. Laszlo then bestows upon us some golden knowledge to advance the plot. We need to question the leader of the Los Alamos cartels because they're the ones smuggling these bombs. So to interrogate this cartel leader, we walk right up to their front door. Nice! Somehow this exceptionally planned interrogation turns into my interrogation. I tell them everything because I don't like pain and this girl is scary. Then they're like, cool, enjoy this party we're throwing. I stroll around, mingle with the guests, hop on the roof, and end up getting bored. I start shooting people because what else am I gonna do? And eventually find the homie Macho Man Randy Diego with all the keys. We use the keys to get into the penthouse suite and learn that the leader of the Los Alamos cartel is the interrogation chick. Oh my god, the twisties. Anyways, now we get to ask her questions and she's all sassy and sly, but eventually tells us one of the missiles is hidden off the coast of this abandoned oil rig. Everyone's like, F yeah, let's go blow some shit up. Basically, the whole gang, Soap, Ghost, Alejandro, and the Shadow Company boys show up for the fun. We're all slipping and sliding around the deck and eventually come across the old bombaroo. With some very confusing instructions from Phil, we finally launch that missile and blow her up on sight. Why didn't we just safely disarm the bombs, you say? Well, no. Are you a child? We're adults and we want to see things go boom boom. Everyone's all high off intergalactic ballistic missile fuel as we arrive back at Alejandro's Mexican base. When all of a sudden Cowboy Philip is like, we don't need you guys anymore, and we're commandeering this probably super expensive compound because, I don't know, laws have suddenly stopped existing. Alio is like, WTF, so a scuffle ensues and the backstabbery commences. Soap takes a grazing bullet to the armpit and Ghost causes a distraction to save his boy by killing, you know, multiple people. He sends his goons after both of us. Now here's where the Soap Ghost fanfic lords start quivering. We take control of an injured Soap prowling around in a foreign town. The Shadow Company is pillaging this local village, murdering and torturing everyone in sight. Ghost schools Soap on the intricacies of guerrilla warfare and their love for each other starts to blossom. After much cat and mouse, Soap at last meets up with his newfound flame. Although I must admit the OG 2009 Modern Warfare 2 Ghost mask was cooler, I'll settle for this new schoolboy look. Ghost knows of a secret Alejandro hideout and they both head there. Turns out Rudy, one of Alejandro's boys, is also here. He tells us Alejandro and all his men have been taken to a black site prison to rot. Ghost and Soap are like, that just won't do. So they hatch a plan to break him and all his company out. We use a sweet grappling hook gun to get over the prison walls and sneak around inside. I tell Ghost where to go and who to kill because he loves to be commanded like the little sub spooky boy that he is. We break out Alejandro and the rest of the boys and go on a shadow smashing rampage. Then we're like spraying out of the joint and pricing guys show up out of nowhere. I guess when you've been in the business as long as they have, even a midnight cruise can end in armed conflict. Turns out Shepard and Philip Graves did a no-no and lost not one, but like 3 ballistic missiles in the Middle East. They were trying to arm some allies fighting Russians, but the Russians were like, well, we'd rather have those. So they killed everyone transporting the missiles and stole them away. But then the Russians were like, well, we'll just give them to this guy Hassan because he's an Iranian terrorist, and we need to involve all current Western adversaries in this game. Shepard and Philip were embarrassed of their messy doo-doo and decided we were getting too close to the truth and that we had to go. Unfortunately for them, we're all tactically badass and the plan did not work. Everyone still wants to get the last missile from the terrorist guy, but to do that, they'll first have to take back Alejandro's base from the Shadow Company and Gravy Boy. They also decide that their combined forces needs a new name for this special operation, so they decide to call their team Ghost Team. Oh, and they all have to wear the classic Ghost mask from the real MW2. Okay, it was dumb, but also pretty fucking sick. Ghost Team infiltrates Alejandro's commandeered base and start messing everyone up. I locate the company leader Graves and he's rolling around in an armored personnel carrier, shooting everything that moves. I don't really care though because I made it to 10th Prestige and the only Call of Duty that matters, and I've learned how to use C4. And that's pretty much how it dies. Now we have to find that stinky last terrorist missile. Oh no, it's in Chicago. The team finds the exact building somehow, and Price and Soap land on top of the massive skyscraper housing the bomb. The homies rappel down the building like it's Rainbow Six and bust in through the windows. As we're coming through the tower, the team learns that the missiles have been armed by Hassan and that we need to find them quick. Then all of a sudden the missile launches from the building. That's usually not a good sign. However, there's still time to disarm it remotely before it reaches the White House. We finally catch up with Hassan and are about to take his slimy little booty down when he blasts us with a breaching charge. Doesn't matter though, I give chase and jump on top of him from an elevator shaft. I lose my weapons but snag the controls and run around this construction zone trying to figure out what the actual difference between columns and rows are. Don't worry, I get it figured out and explode the missile before it reaches its target. Hassan doesn't like that too much and tries to pull a Dark Knight by hanging me off this 70-story building. Ghost is like, I don't think so, buddy. Okay, now he's like, I don't think so, buddy, and domes Hassan from the perfectly aligned roof across the street. 9 spooky subboys out of 10. Infinity Ward, I'm ready for emotional carnage. Could you please stop toying Ghost in front of me and fucking kill him already? Let's turn these boys into men. Thanks.